Everyone. Today I'm going to discuss the Jacobean comedy. I have already discussed the Jacobean drama. It is an introduction part, a very short video. You can go and take some note on it or you can understand from it. So today I'm going to start with the Jacobean comedy. So Jacobean comedy is also called a comedy of humor. It is a form of drama which became fashionable at the very end of the 16th century and early in the 17th century. It was so called because characters whose action in terms of the medieval and Renaissance theory of humor were ruled by a particular passion, trait, dispositions, or humor. So there are key features of Jacobean comedy are as follows. First, satirical and cynical tone. Second, city comedies. Third, dark humor. So unlike Shakespeare's comedy of his earlier work, the Jacobean comedy is totally in contrast to that. It features cruelties and moral ambiguities. Then we have fourth point, strong female characters. So women were often witty, portrayed as witty and manipulative, using their intelligence to navigate society's restrictions. Mask and court entertainment. Sixth, fairish and Turkey. You can also call fairish and deception. Seventh, focus on money and social climbing. Next, we have famous Jacobean comedies and their playwrights. So, Ben Jonson wrote Walfon 1606. It is basically a satirical comedy about greed, featuring a man who pretended to be dying to manipulate others. He also wrote The Alchemist 1610, which is a blend of tragic comedy. Fourth, The Bartholomean Fair 1614. Next writer we have Thomas Middleton, A Cast Made in Cheapside 1613. It is basically a mock or a biting satire on the middle classes society. John Maston, he wrote Malcontent in 1604 and The Duchess Curtisan 1605. Last we have Francis Beaumont and John Fletchers. They wrote The King of the Burning Pestle 1607 and it is a parody of chivalry romances and theatres itself, and Philistine in 1610. So there is a short comparison between the Jacobean comedies and the Elizabethan comedies, their influences and legacies. Jacobean comedies influenced lately satire, fairish, and even modern darker comedies. The genres focus on corruption, social ambiguity, and trickery resonations with contemporary theatres, film, and literature. Note, this is very important point. You should understand and take note of it, and you should point out these four principle or point in your answers while writing about Jacobean comedy. So these are four fluids, four principle that is very much frequently used in this Jacobean period. So this is a type of a comedy based itself on the ancient psychological theory of the four humors that was still current in Ben Jonson's and other writers, as you will read on it. So these four fluids are basically temperament. A mixture was held to determine both a person's physical conditions and type of character she has. So an imbalance of any one or any other humor in the temperament was said to produce four kinds of dispositions. Excessive of different fluid was said to have the following effects on man. So these four fluid are: first, blood. It is also called pleasure principle. I will shortly discuss it. So blood or pleasure principle is marked by irresponsible myth, an indulgence in pleasure to the excessive of important matters, also excessively optimistic. So these people of excessively optimistic and second, the phylum or calm, a docile. So in this, it makes one person's excessively calm, being too much calm. And the third point, chlora or yellow bile, it makes one highly irritable or ill-tempered. Fourth principle, fourth fluid is black bile or melancholy. It is marked by one excessively melancholy. So here the word melancholy means a feeling of sadness which lasts for a longer time. So there is a one very important quote in his introduction to Every Man Out of His Humor by Ben Jonson's. He wrote, "Some one peculiar quality doth so possess a man, that it doth draw all his effects, his spirits, and his power, in their conflections, all to run one way. This way be truly said to be a humor." So basically, Ben Jonson's comedies, the principal characters have some humor in excess, which leads to the characterization, distortion, or eccentricity of dispositions. So such plays are Everyman in his humor and everyone out of his humor. So our last but not the least point is city comedy or citizen comedy, which is written in during the time of 17th century. So it was basically a type of play that was in vogue earlier in the 17th century. It was usually about the life in contemporary London, and the characters were based on those likely to be found among the middle or the lower middle classes. So the period was characterized by economical and social upheavals in which a trading class or an entrepreneur developed into established middle classes. So in this plays, generally the plots depend on social climbing and greed, and they portray characters they portray characters specifically. For example, they are marrying for money or for fame, or they are dreaming up schemes to get rich and aim to denounce anyone and anything that may damage the image of London. So that's all of Jacobean comedy, and next I'm going to discuss the Jacobean tragedy. Thank you.